Hello, today I'm opening up Trambahn. This is a game from Mayfair by Helmut Ohley or Ohley. This is a two-player game, and this plays in about 30 minutes, 30 to 45, depending on if you're a first-time player. And it is ages 8 and up. All right, so it says here, easy rules, multifunctional cards, and historic images. So let's see those historic images inside. All right, so rulebook, single page, folded into 6 pages. It's not really too difficult of a game. Here's a score pad. Last time I lost. Hey, baby boy. Okay, so he's just visiting. Aw, too much love. Too much love. Okay, there we go. Where do you want to go? Nope, nope, not the mic. All right. So here is a score pad, and last time I lost by 50 so points, or almost 50 points. So here's a whole pack of them. Play this game 100 times, then quit. All right. So here are the cards. So multi-use cards or functional cards. So basically, one side has money, and the other side has a color, I guess a line of for a particular train, and a value. So this is sort of like a victory point multiplier. This is just the value for each card, and this is the color, green. So all of them are 1,000, or I don't know what currency that is. Durchin 10 April 1910. Okay. Lean Ausend Wark. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it, but all right. So here's a kind of a one pointer that is on the yellow line. This is value 5. So here's a blue one, and there should be a brown. Yeah, so here's a brown. So there are your 4 basic colors. So here are the historic images. Nice little cityscape there, sort of a little park on the side. This one is tree-lined streetway, although I don't see the train anywhere, so must be another side. Here's another nice little garden. Ladies, that dude is about to mug this lady, I'm sure, or they're both in cahoots and they're going to mug this lady with an umbrella. I'm not sure. So crime's still happening back in the day. So here's some sort of hexagonal or octagonal building with a little park, nice little greenery right there, flowers. Okay, so here's a fountain, very cool. I like fountains. Here's a little pagoda, not sure where that is. Okay, so there are a ton of these cards. Here is another cityscape, like a little plaza. Now here's a train. That's the first one I've seen so far. Now here's another one. So the blue ones have it. The other colors don't. So, all right. So here's another deck. More cards. So there's a ton of these cards. Now here are the victory point multipliers. So here's one that's of times 4. So let's say these get paired together. You've got 4 times 4, so that's 8 points right there. This one will cost 15 money, which are on the back of these cards. So here's another 4 multiplier, and then there should be some that are value or that cost 10 and multiply by 3, and then another set that are only 5,000 and multiplies the score by 2. All right, so here are the 4 different lines. Basically what you do is you pick a color from your hand and then you lay it down, and once there's 4 that accumulates, then the train goes off and you score. Here are 2 player aid cards, 2 different languages, hopefully, English and German. So I guess the word for optional is still the same. So Handkarten auf 6 Ergansen. So draw 6 cards draw cards until you have a hand of 6. So that's what's inside of Trambahn. Hello. Tonight we played Trambahn. This is for 2 players. A game designed by Helmut Ohley or Ohley.
Yeah, Ohley. I think it's German, so
yeah.
Ohley, sure.
One thing I noticed about the write-up here in the back was easy rules, multifunctional cards, historic images.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is a historic, dog running around a cobblestone street. No, I was kidding.
Okay.
I was kidding.
Sure, yeah. Maybe its art style is historic?
Yeah. I didn't particularly notice, like, the art. I mean, it's besides...
There's probably, like, train stops that... Like,
yeah.
There's, like, names on some of the cards that are train stops, like the cards that... Or the names of the places on the cards are train stops in Germany, I think, or Austria, wherever this is. Austria? Germany? Munich, Germany.
1. So yeah, this is a 2-player game. It plays in about 30 minutes, ages 8 and up, from Mayfair, right?
Mayfair, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's about 30 minutes. I mean, first game might take 45 minutes or so because the flow of the game is a little weird, I think, for newcomers. I taught it to a friend of ours the other day, and I think the first few 4 or 5 turns, it kind of threw her off what was going on, but once you get into the flow of it and how the scoring works,
it really gets going.
Yeah.
And this was my first playthrough. You've played it. You taught it to me
10 or 12 times. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, I liked it. I liked it a whole lot.
Well, I could say, like, when I first showed you this game and introduced you to it, I kind of called it, like a step up from Lost Cities.
Yeah.
Because like Lost Cities, if you played it, it has the whole. I think it's. I've never actually played what this is what it's compared to, but Racco, I think is what it. It's a card game that has similar playing cards in numbered order, but so in this one you're laying out columns of cards that are the same color, and you're doing them in ascending numerical order again.
Yeah. And
you can skip over numbers just like Lost Cities, where you go from you can go from 2 to 5, but once you do that, you can't go back and play the 3 or the 4.
Yeah.
But in this one, you're needing to also lay down stations, which cost money, and that's where the multi-use cards come in, because every colored number card is also a money card if you want it to be.
Yeah.
So that's where I like this game so much, and giving it away quickly. Like, I like this game so much because it forces you to not hold on to the cards like every turn. From step 1, you are okay. I just need to I need this for money. Because every card you hold on to is a card you're not getting, basically, or a card you're not putting into your money pile, and you need those things. So
and that's like sort of an understatement, like the multi-use cards, or like underrated, I guess. Sure. I really enjoyed it in this game because you can use it to try to score on a color that you want, or to play the card in as a passenger, or to use it for money.
Right. Yeah, you're either choosing to use the card to score a certain color, to build up a certain color column, or as money. So I know early on I was scoring one particular color over and over again that I had a huge advantage in, and that kind of set the tone for the game.
Yeah.
and we got half of the game over really quickly because I got to score the same color multiple times.
Yeah, but like once the first playthrough is somewhat of a just a one of the rolls. Yeah. After I think when we played this again, the strategy, what kind of to do, and your just play style is gonna just be evolved. You
kind of have to pick up the speed of the game, and even once you do that, it's not that there's necessarily one set way to play. It's not that build up the money pile the whole time.
Right.
Like sometimes you are gonna target one certain color and just try to score it over and over and get the game over quickly. Sometimes you might try and build up an array of colors and just stay with the flow of the game and building up large columns of cards so you can get the extra scores. And there's still enough depth there because it's not a heavy game, so you're not going to get a ton of strategy and tactics necessarily, but there's enough there that you're constantly weighing every choice you have as far as cards go because the game's going to speed up, and if you wait too long, you're going to get left behind. So
and going to the money card and the train cards, it seemed like so let's just talk about the train cards first. It starts from a multiplier of 2 to 3 to 4, and it costs 5, 10, and 15, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How many 2s and 3s were there?
So I looked that up after the game. There's 5 2s, 4 3s, and 7 4s.
5 2s, 7 3s.
5 2. So 5, 4, and 7 for 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Okay, 5, 4, and 7. Okay, because it seemed like the 2s and the 3s, you had to get through them. I don't know. It felt kind of weird that I don't know what to make out of that. Because.
And what's that it's all. I think you got hung up on this, not necessarily from a critique standpoint, but I know it's odd at first because you want to build. So a mechanic in this game is as you're building columns, you have to put a tramway card under it, or else you lose that column of cards.
Right.
At the end of your turn if you don't have it. So it's weird to go through it. You don't necessarily want the 2 and 3s. You want the 4s.
Yeah.
You want to be able to just buy those right off. But the multiplier cards, the tramways, are always set from 2 to 4 in that order. There's no variance with that. You have to get through the 2s first, and then the 3s, and then the 4s.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not sure why you can't just build tramways to have them for later, but the rules themselves aren't very particular about it. Where it doesn't say you can't build the tramways to then put columns on later. It's just it says something like once you buy a tramway, you have to assign it to a column, meaning or inferring, I guess, that you would have to have a column there to put it on. So it's odd. I'm not sure why it has to be from 2 to 4 in that order. But,
I mean, that's cool. I don't know.
That's definitely it's
because if you're really looking out for it, you're trying to wait long enough where you can you take the first 3 or the first 4. Cause
you don't want to have as many. You want to have more 3s and 4s than they have 3s and 4s. If maybe have just a couple of 2s and then save big and go for the 3 and 4 multipliers. That way, your scores are higher, quicker, and stuff.
And the money part, after the deck runs out, you reset half to your advantage. I lucked out on both times that it reset. One time I had no money left, so I didn't have to discard any.
And you only had to lose 1 the second time, I think.
Yeah.
I lost 10,000.
Yeah, I know.
Total.
That's
crazy. And it's just, But I mean, it's one of those things that...
Use it or lose it,
Use it or lose it, And I went with the lose it strategy because I wasn't going to build new columns because it was... it felt like a waste of money at the time, or it felt like a waste of cards at the time. Too much. I was stretching myself too thin if I did that. So it worked out for me, luckily. But
yeah, and that's kind of like I know you had two brown columns. I had a couple of yellows, but like maybe getting a couple of those early on can, like you say, set the mood. Like once you really start cranking on and start scoring on those,
right.
But also like spreading out, like by having 5 or 6 different railways, different colors. It doesn't build up as much, but it's sort of somewhat important also.
It keeps you in the game. Like, you don't want to get totally left behind. Like, the Browns that I had, I got 12 points a pop at one point, and you were getting 0.
Yeah.
And I got 24 at one point, and you got some points by that point. But, yeah, it's important, at least by, I would say, because you get to score whenever a color is set off to score. That's 1/10 of the game, and by the halfway point, or 6th, 7th round, you should have probably like 3 colors at least, or else, unless you're able to just bust out the colors and score them that you want, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get some zeros, for sure, if you don't invest at least a little bit in other ones. Like I think I only had one blue column at one point, but it was giving me 18 points each time, so I didn't care how much you scored it.
Exactly.
Because you had an advantage in it, but it was like a 3 or 4 point advantage. Yellow at the end gave you a lot of points, and that I didn't have as much. I had to like build that because it was one of my two multipliers. You had like 2 3s and got 30 something points out of it, and had a crazy amount of points out of it. But I had to build that the whole game just to get that.
Right.
So.
The J wild cards, I didn't realize their importance until like later on, because they help you achieve your 8, your 8 passengers to get
the extra scoring. Which is cool. Yeah, I only had one of those, but it's a cool little mechanic that if you can, like Lost Cities, where if you get so many cards, you get an extra amount of money in the game from that column. This one is, if you get 8 cards in any one column, you get to score that column an extra time outside of the 10 rounds of the game. It's like extra bonus points at the end of the game for you, which if you can do it, it's cool. And it doesn't. You can put the jokers in anywhere. You can.
Right.
They don't take up a number slot. They're just like an extra card on your column. So.
Yeah, and it's that was, it's a little bit different. To a little bit a unique way to use a wild card, I guess.
Yeah. And you can actually use it too for the scoring mechanic. Also, if you really want to score green and you don't have any green cards, you can use that joker to score green.
Yeah.
So.
And I felt like you had, even though there were you had to do things. They're mandatory. Play a card in one of the 4 colors, and the rest were voluntary, optional. But still, like, it felt like you had a lot of options, even though there were only like 5 things you could do.
And it's a bit of push your luck, and I think that's why I like the game, because you get that idea from Lost Cities that you have like 2, 3, 4 in a column. And you're holding on to the green 8 or something. Yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna wait. I want that 5, 6, and 7. I want that 5, 6, and 7. I want one of them at least. Yeah. You wait 2 hands, or you wait 2 turns, and you're not getting it. You're like, fine, I'm gonna play the 8, and then here comes the 5, 6, and 7. Exactly. And it drives you nuts. And it's that same push your luck thing that is cool. But I like what this game does in the sense that. You don't necessarily just have one green column. You can build, if that column messes you over, it's like, well, fine, I'm done with that column. I'll go build another green one, and that'll help you score more if green sets off again. So it's going to take some time, but, it'll pay off if you can get it right. So
yeah, I agree.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, so Trambahn.
Did you look up the score for this one on BGG? Or
what do you think it is?
It should be higher than Lost Cities, whatever it is, because I would say 7. I don't know. BGG's tough. Everything seems to fall into like between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
I'd say it's in the 7s somewhere. I'd say it's 7.2 or 3.
Okay. I thought
on
it
BGG
was.
at least.
Yeah, I thought it was 7 flat.
7
We
flat.
can look it up right quick.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, if what'd you say Blood of an Englishman was?
6-7.
Yeah, if that's a 6-7, this should be like a 7-4 or something.
Yeah.
On BGG, but
That was either 7 or 7.5.
I just had it here. So see if I can find it. Trambahn. 7 flat on BGG. So
it's 7.
7.0. 1.4 thousand ratings.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like a lot of people could really get into this. I mean, it doesn't take too long once you really get into it, and I mean, I'm craving another game of it. You know,
I can sit down and play this multiple times.
Yeah.
And really, Lost Cities might take a little bit less time because there's not that extra step of the money and the tramway cards you need to keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nice extra little step for that tension, that micromanaging, that okay, should I wait and like because you have 6 cards in your hand. If you hold on to too many cards, you're not gonna build up your money pile, and you're not gonna get more cards to possibly add to your columns.
Yeah, exactly.
So you fall into you can easily fall into this rut of stagnating yourself in this game, and you have to. It's fun to just force yourself sometimes and just be like, wait, I gotta just move forward.
You
gotta let it go
something.
sometimes.
Yeah. And I think this game, I did learn that you don't hold on to.
And sometimes it's worth it. You might wait 1 turn, 2 turns max, but after that, it's like, okay, move on.
Yeah.
If you hold on to 5 cards and you're waiting for that one perfect card to play, you're gonna really mess yourself up.
Exactly. So. Even waiting once.
Yeah. It can set you behind a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So, but no.
Shuffle the cards really well though, because if you get like a bunch like that can, like, it might feel weird. That's the one negative I would have against this game is that, especially, I mean, I guess Lost Cities would be the same way, but which I keep on harping back to, but if it can very easily fall into oh look, I got 1, 2, 3, and 4 of yellow. I'll set those down on my first play and be ready to score yellow as soon as possible. But I mean, that's the same with any card game. I think. Yeah. You could just end up with a good hand. So.
One more thing I want to mention is like the scoring. I like the way it was structured. Like there's 10 different scoring opportunities. Mm-hmm. Anytime somebody scores. Or one of the colors is scored, that's 1/10 of the game. Yeah, it's so you have a steady pace. You know when it's going to end. And
that's part of the strategy too. Mm-hmm. It's like if you have a couple of good early rounds, even if your opponent's building something up and you're not too far behind in it. Like if I, with mine with the Browns at least, you started like picking away at it, so. Which is fine. I could have just forced. If I had the cards, I could have forced the momentum. I could have forced the tempo and been like, okay, let's score. Let's keep on scoring and finish it out. That way, you don't build anything too drastic and take over. So there's definitely a choice you can make with how fast the game goes and scoring things. So because you can place 1 or 2 cards and you can place them in the same color and
So like the scoring is like. It's a good like what am I trying to say? It keeps the game moving, and when it's going to end. And the only thing about it though, to me, is once somebody does build up sort of a lead. Well, even if somebody does build up a lead, and they're trying to end it as quickly as they can, it could backfire because. Your opponent could be, winning, 5 to 10 points
at a pop, and if they, it could turn around if you force too many scorings. Mm-hmm. Your opponent could in the last couple of rounds set out some cards and score themselves that push them ahead. So you have to be careful. But if you want to, like, you can put there's definitely a way to put pressure on your opponent in this
Mm-hmm.
game,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to hold it back and build up a little. So
Right. Yeah. So
it's a good back and forth with that.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Just like trains, they go back and forth.
I need a beer after that.
Yeah. So that's Trambahn from Mayfair, a game by Helmut, Ohley,
with historic images.
with historic images and multi-use cards. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, multifunctional
Functional
cards.
Yeah.
Easy
Multifunction.
rules.
Yeah, easy rules. Very easy rules. Yeah.
They're slightly more difficult than easy,
Yeah.
but they're still fairly,
I mean, yeah. Basically, the turn structure is on a card.
Yeah.
So that's very. I mean, you could mostly play it from that.
Yeah.
You just got to know the setup and
Mhm.
things. But yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Easy. Fair enough.
Could you explain this verbally and then to somebody and they will get the rules, or will you have to show them how to play?
Could I explain it to him verbally, like without cards?
Like without cards, yeah. You just like I haven't played before. You just tell me the rules.
I could get him 75% of the way there. I think the
Okay.
tramway cards would throw him off.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the game it would be easy enough, because it's 4 colors.
Mm-hmm.
There's 4 color cards that are 1 through 10, and they have point values on them. You're trying to build color columns of the same color from 1 to 10. You can skip numbers if you want, but you have to have those tramway cards under them, and that's where it's like, wait, where do you get those from, and the money and stuff. So
Yeah.
because reasons.
Yeah, I'd like to experiment on that. Like trying to teach somebody this game.
Cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without the cards.
Interrogation style.
You're just like, here's all the rules. Now go play the game.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I think you could for
it's
the most
possible,
part.
yeah.
The tramway. I think the tramways would throw people off because there
Yeah.
are questions with those, and like, when can you buy them?
Mhm.
How many can you buy? Why you need them?
Mhm.
Kind of stuff. That's the most difficult part. But otherwise, I think
Yeah.
it'd be. Yeah, you could get like 75% of this from just hearing what the rules are. But
Yeah. All right, so that's Trombone.
it's trauma.